Hi everyone, thank you very much for joining us on this episode of Startup Talks. We are joined today by a wonderful young Mr. Sher Ali Khan. Sher Ali Khan is a serial entrepreneur. He has recently started ezWiFi, but before that, he has been a startup before, founded a startup before too. Sorry about that. And he recently announced a pre-series round as well with 42 ventures and also some angels, including Nami Zamindar. Assalamu alaikum, Sher Ali Khan. How are you doing, my friend?
Welcome, Sam. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Like I said, it's started to go husky now.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Sher, you studied at the Imperial, right? I spent some time there as well at Imperial. It's a wonderful place,
Yeah.
a world of its own, right? I had lots of friends there. Visited the bar as well, not for that purpose, but did have fish and chips there lots of times. So, how
Fish
was
and chips.
your time there in England?
So I spent about like almost 5 years in England. Did my bachelor's in Imperial Computer
Mhm,
Science, and then I worked like in a couple of Wall Street banks. It was amazing. I mean, I describe London as
mhm,
one of the best cities in the world.
mhm,
And when you look at it, it's like you take the entire planet, you shrink it down into a city, and you get London. That's the vibe you get from London. So it's the
mhm.
whole planet in one city. So it's an
Everybody's
amazing
there.
place.
Everybody's there from world over.
Yeah, all
So,
over the world.
from that banking experience, right? You've been into software development and all.
Yeah.
You started out with something else. You founded a company called Frontman. What was
Yeah.
that about, and what made you switch over to Easy Wi-Fi?
Yeah. So just to give a background as to why I started these ventures or like why I quit my job and moved back to Pakistan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody always says, like, why did you leave this super stable job in banking in
Mm-hmm.
London,
Mm-hmm.
come back to Pakistan and start a startup? That
Yeah.
seems like the most crazy thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was living in London, I would come back for holidays to Pakistan, and you probably noticed as well that we have like scheduled power cuts in the country, right? Load shedding and just regular power cuts.
Yeah.
And when that happens, nobody really cares that the power went out. What
Mm-hmm.
they care about is that, oh, the Wi-Fi turned off. That's what people care about, and that's what I cared about as well when I was, on holiday in Islamabad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you realize how much of a necessity internet is. And that's what drove me to actually quit my job, start a business here in Pakistan that is providing free internet to people.
Mm-hmm.
And like my first venture, FrontMat, was similar. We provided Wi-Fi services to restaurants and everything, but we charged restaurants for it, and we were just completely bootstrapped. We didn't raise money. It was going good,
Mm-hmm.
but then when COVID hit and the lockdowns hit, our revenue was amazing, but when literally overnight our revenue went to zero because
Mm-hmm.
all these restaurants said they can't pay us
Yeah.
because they're shut down. They
Yeah.
had a very easy decision to make. Either they can pay rent and pay their employees, or they can pay for Wi-Fi services. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously that was like a no-brainer on their end. So we struggled for like 2 3 months to like just keep that going. And eventually, the lockdowns weren't lifting and COVID was getting worse and worse. It was just decided that it's time to shut that down. And then we started Easy Wi-Fi, in which instead of charging restaurants for these services, we're giving it to them for free.
Mm-hmm.
And not just free, we're helping them make money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how like we're building this sharing economy for Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting off with restaurants, cafes, but eventually the goal is that everyone should be able to share their Wi-Fi
Mm-hmm.
and make some revenue off of it. So people are getting millions of people in Pakistan all around this part of the world
Mm-hmm.
are going to get free internet, and the people giving it are going to make money off of it. That's generally the goal of easy Wi-Fi as well.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
how does it work? It's really interesting. I mean, we've seen it in more developed countries. Like you go to the airport, you get free Wi-Fi and everything. You've got hotspots in most major economies. You go to Germany, the US, right? All those things are there. They've progressed quite a bit with regards to access to communication, right? But how is it working in Pakistan? What's the model like?
Yeah.
Right, say for example, I have a corner shop, right? Wow, what is it? Uh, what good is it for me, right? In layman's terms, if you could just walk us through it.
Yeah. So when you bring up, something like Starbucks or airports abroad or everything, right? They offer like free Wi-Fi to their customers,
Yeah.
but they're paying these other companies like so much money for their service. We're
Mm-hmm.
giving restaurants or like your coffee shop the same service, same quality, but instead you're making money off of this as well. So like we'll make you like $50 a month, $60 a month, enough to cover your internet cost at least.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just starting off like this. And how it works is, we'll set up a Wi-Fi hotspot at your location, completely free of cost.
Mm-hmm.
We take the upfront cost of the device.
Mm-hmm.
Your customers come, use the free Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
They'll see an ad that we run, and we'll give you a share of the ad revenue. Super
Okay.
simple. That's about it. Everything technical is happening on our end. We handle everything. You just
Mm-hmm.
get, a check at the end of the month.
Okay. So, an ad, whoever is using the Wi-Fi at my place at a chai dhaba, right? And
Yeah.
that XYZ when he's using the phone, so maybe he's watching something or reading the news or something, an ad would just pop up, and he'd view that ad, and the revenue from that ad you're going to share it with the shop owner. Is that the basic model kind of like thing?
That's that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Okay, interesting. And how much have you scaled this up until now?
Yeah, so I mean, we are in more than 100 locations now. We're just growing the team now and getting going.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the first 100 locations, on board myself before we
Mm-hmm.
even raised money, through my
Mm-hmm.
own personal savings and all that stuff,
Uh-huh.
putting money into the business. And, it was that traction that allowed us to actually raise around.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're just like in like 150 now,
Mm-hmm.
like 150 locations.
Mm-hmm.
Did the first 100 myself, from sales to installation to maintenance, everything. I had a drill in the car at all times, wherever I was going, just drilling routers into walls and just plugging them in. So
Yeah.
that was my life for the first 2 months of the business.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're like, it's really good. Got a lot of customers now on board.
Okay. Oh, and which geographies is it? Only in Islamabad?
No, so we're primarily in Islamabad and Pindi.
Mm-hmm.
We have a few outlets in Lahore and a few up north, like in Natia Gully, in Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, right now it's just focused on this side of the Pakistan.
Okay. And you've scaled quite a bit in these two cities. I mean, 150 locations is not a small task to be doing individually. You've raised some money as well, right? Obviously, a lot of that is going to go into scaling and getting on new talent. How big is your team right now?
So right now we're three people. I just sent out another offer to a person. He's starting on the first.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just growing as quickly as we can find people. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And
if anybody's watching this and they wanna come work with me, send me your CV, please.
okay, so you've got a big appetite for people right now, I
Yeah, yeah.
guess. uh, and uh, I'm from Karachi, so this is like really exciting. I want to experience this. I don't know when am I going to visit Islamabad, but what's your plans of scaling into other cities then?
Yeah. So I mean, it's what's really good about this is very predictable,
Mm-hmm.
very scalable, and very repeatable. The model. I mean, you just go sign up a restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
install the device, and that's it. This is
Mm-hmm.
super simple. The
Yeah.
complexity of it is happening on our end.
Yeah.
So in terms of scaling it to other cities, we just like right now how we're doing Lahore is we have an
Mm-hmm.
office in Lahore where we have technicians and we have like business
Mm-hmm.
development people, and they just go out, sign up restaurants. We mail our devices pre-configured to the restaurant, and it's set
Mm-hmm.
up and good to go. It's like plug and play. It takes 5 minutes to set up. So
Mm-hmm.
really easy. In terms of Karachi, we do plan on expanding to Karachi within a few months, like
Okay,
within a few months.
okay. And and let's get a bit technical over here, right?
Yeah.
Technology is not exactly my forte, but I know bits and bobs here and there, right? So, to provide this internet, you must have partnered with some principal organizations, right? Uh, Either telcos or hardline providers. How reliable is that internet service of yours? What's the quality?
Yeah. So we aren't directly partnered with any telco or ISP right now.
Mm-hmm.
What we do is, usually these restaurants have to give free internet to their customers anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And you might have noticed that it's never really any good
Mm-hmm.
because they use like traditional home like devices that are meant for houses and homes.
Yeah.
So we work with restaurants, we provide them our enterprise device,
Mm-hmm.
which plugs into the existing network
Mm-hmm.
and makes a new hotspot,
Mm-hmm.
and the customers connect to that new free Wi-Fi instead of their existing one. So it sits on top of the old internet,
Mm-hmm.
but completely separate, completely secured, and works better because the device is like an enterprise solution rather than a residential one, which is traditionally what
Mm-hmm.
like restaurants have in the places.
So it's in street lingo, it's probably more like a booster.
Yeah, it's like a booster, yeah, with like our services on top. Yeah.
Okay. And now, share a lot of great things are happening in Pakistan with regards to tech infusion in lots of operations, whether for daily life or in the corporate sector or in business operations. And most of the things that are happening here uh, are to some extent a replication of models that have been done in other countries. What about you? What about Easy Wi-Fi?
Well, I mean, if you look at all these other ventures that are happening right now, the startups, right? They're just copies of what happened in the first word
Mhm,
in the already the like US or UK.
mhm,
Then India basically copied that, and now Pakistan is just copying India and replicating what India did in Pakistan.
mhm,
You have these quick delivery services, all this kind of stuff, and like very into agriculture. The space is like going off now.
mhm,
But in terms of easy Wi-Fi, I mean, all these businesses, all these startups you see now are powered by the internet. The
mhm,
consumers, the businesses itself, they're powered by the internet, right?
mhm,
And this part of the world which we're targeting, we're going after Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal,
mhm,
Middle East, Vietnam, East Africa. There's a billion people in this part of the world who don't have access to the internet.
mhm.
And our mission is to connect them to the internet.
Okay.
So if you look at the first word, you have bigger companies like Facebook, Google, who have these free internet programs, in this part of the world, in the emerging markets,
Yeah.
but they're not working because they just don't understand how to make it work.
Mhm,
And we figured out something that is actually working. So
mhm,
if I give you a stat, right, just in the past 25, 26 days since
mhm.
New Year's, we've had over 1 million people use the internet through our service,
Okay.
and that's like a huge statistic. That's a huge number.
Mhm,
So I mean, I wouldn't say like we're replicating anything that
mhm,
has already happened in the first word because they've already always had the internet.
mhm,
So we're building something new, but it's actually something new. We're not copying anyone. We're not,
mhm,
like just delivering food or groceries or something.
mhm.
It's
Yeah.
actually a problem that is a basic necessity. I feel like when you don't have the internet, that's when you realize how much and how important it is.
Yeah.
So that's like our mission is to do that, to bring free internet to 1 billion people.
Mhm,
So yeah, I don't think that's been done before, and companies that have tried this before, are the big players, and
mhm.
they're making a real mess of it. So
Okay. Uh, this is really interesting, actually. So when you're raising a restaurant, let me know. Maybe I might be part of it. I'll try and be part of it. Let's see where where you're standing in a couple of months now. So, with regards to scalability, right? Of course, you started off with the Twin Cities, and then you are moving into Lahore and other regions of Pakistan as well. If this is not if this is not being replicated, then it might be, looking at what you are doing, might be done replicated by others as well. So how quickly can you scale this, and quickly can you move this beyond Pakistan and within the region?
Yeah. So our goal is to, yeah, so that's a excellent question, right?
Yeah.
Scalability and growth in terms of a startup is, that's what a startup is.
Yeah.
Can it scale and is it growing?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the whole our whole platform is based on scalability. Like I said, it takes 5 minutes to set up one location.
Yeah.
And we want to be in over 1,000 locations in the next 6 months in Pakistan. And by the middle of next year, we want to be done with Pakistan and moving into a different market. That's our goal. And it will take another round of funding as well. But in terms of people, like, scalability, there are going to be no issues. That's a very easy model to replicate and scale this, because it's a win-win-win for everyone. Consumers are getting free internet, restaurants are making an additional revenue, and advertisers, which we work with, are reaching people who spend money, right? People who go to restaurants, cafes are the ones who are spending money. These are the people advertisers want to reach. So it's like a win-win-win for everyone. And in terms of, like, copying this and whatever, I welcome the challenge. Go for it. It's we don't run Facebook ads, we don't run Google ads. We run our own ads. That's what makes it so lucrative and sustainable. We built our own ad network. That's why we have great margins, and we can give money to restaurants. We have our own ads platform that I built myself. And we're expanding on that right now. If you just run Google ads, Facebook ads, it's not a sustainable business model. You don't have enough margins to actually scale this up and grow this up. You'll just always be burning cash. So that's what makes it, go ahead. If you can make your own ad network and, like, do this the way we are, then bring it. Let's see.
Yeah, it's really cool actually, because because you are kind of like concentrating on a sector, i.e. Restaurants, right? So you can actually like you mentioned Facebook and everything, or Google ads and all of those things. It's, of course, you can target an audience, a segment of society, or a location, and all of those things. But with you can actually pinpoint it, right? Pinpoint who you want to target it to, and the location you want to target it at. Now,
exactly.
The other bit, Sher, why just restaurants?
Yeah, so we're starting off with restaurants and cafes, right? We want to be in every single location, everywhere. And eventually, what we want is that you won't even need to go to a place to actually use the Wi-Fi, right? Why not share the Wi-Fi you're using at your house? Share it with your neighbors, make money off of it. Who knows? But yeah, we're just starting off with restaurants and cafes because it's a predictable model. On average, you get like 200, 250 users at a restaurant every day. And they're very receptive to new technology. The owners of restaurants and cafes, they're entrepreneurs themselves, so they're very open to new ideas, and they're also into innovation and like all these sort of like new technologies that can help them like help their business basically. So it's very good to work with them. They're also very vocal about things when they don't work. So when something doesn't work, they're very vocal about it. So they're just like really, really good customers to have. And the market in Pakistan for it is huge. So it's good to start with restaurants, cafes, but we want to go into malls, airports, schools, hospitals, gyms, you name it. That's
and with regards to numbers, right? Say I have a restaurant, a pretty busy place, right? Maybe seating capacity of 100 people or something. It's a huge place, right? So through this ad spend on ezWiFi, right? How much? What sort of? And I'm not asking for a specific figure. What kind of revenues am I looking at?
As the owner of a restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah. So our goal right now is that we give you enough money to at least cover your internet bill. So if you're paying, like 4,000, 5,000 rupees. We want to make you enough money that you cover that. So it feels like you have free internet at least.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're starting off with like 5,000, 6,000 rupees as the revenue sharing thing.
Okay.
But it is 50-50. We do give 50% of the revenue we make to the restaurant.
Okay. And since there's a lot of talk about booster shots, right? And you are providing an internet booster, right, to restaurants. So, and you said there it's pretty traditionally, of course, we've all experienced it. The speeds are pretty sloppy at most places, right?
Yep.
So, how good is easy Wi-Fi speed then?
Yeah. So the most important thing is always that it should be
Yeah.
free, fast, and secure. Those are the three things when it comes to Wi-Fi, right? And like why traditionally you see the Wi-Fi never works at like restaurant or cafes. Like I said, they use like, residential based hardware. Equipment is, meant for houses, like 10, 15 people at one point can use it, and then that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no like management happening on top. Our services are, first of all, the device we use is enterprise level. It can handle, like 200 simultaneous connections,
Mm-hmm.
and we manage those connections automatically. We allocate bandwidth, we allocate speed per connection as well. So it's not like, somebody can just sit and like just stream YouTube at 1080p and then just, make everyone else's experience, like much worse. So we do monitor everything, we do track everything. It's a completely managed Wi-Fi service.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody should have like a great experience while using it. So it is fast and it is secure, and nobody can abuse the internet as well. So everybody has a great experience when they're using the Wi-Fi.
So here's a bit of an input from my side, right?
Yep.
Maybe you can use this in your marketing campaigns or something, right? I don't know if you thought of this or not, or somebody advised you on it or not. There's a term called SaaS, software as a service, then
Yeah.
PaaS, then platform as a service. So you've got something on your hands that's a WAS, Wi-Fi as a service, right? So this this could actually be really cool. Uh, so when you're moving into residential, when you are in Karachi, and if you move into residential, you've got a first customer here, right?
Oh yeah. Perfect. Well, moving to residential is going to be
Yeah.
probably sometime
Hmm.
next year. Yeah, but right now, there's like the market for restaurants and cafes is so big in Pakistan. I mean,
Hmm.
the only entertainment we have, is eating. So in Pakistan, so uh, so like right now, moving into Karachi, will be in Karachi within 6 months, and residential, our goal is to
Hmm.
like somewhere in the next year.
आप जो है ना बहुत सारे लोगों के साथ जो है अगर इफ़ यू ऑल द बेस्ट टू यू फॉर दिस राइट फॉर श्योर बट बहुत सारे आईएसपीज के साथ जो है ना फड्डा लेने वाले हो
Bring it. ISPs, telcos, all of them. With Facebook, with Google, with ISPs, with telcos, all the big boys. सारों के साथ मिल रहे हैं.
No, this is actually really interesting. You've
Yeah,
been
but
hiding, hiding this somewhere. Acha,
yeah,
another technical bit. You did this internet thing before, right? With your previous
yeah,
startup, right? The model was a bit different then. Um, it's certainly gone up. So the model was a bit different
exciting.
then. uh, what's really the core difference? I mean, what learnings did you have from there that you are trying to implement over here, right?
Yep.
Of course, that must have helped you to scale right now with easy Wi-Fi. But what is the core difference like? What's better here and wasn't
Yep.
there?
Yep. So the biggest difference is, how quickly we're able to grow this thing actually. Before we were charging restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
and we were giving them the same features and bells and whistles that other providers are giving them,
Mm-hmm.
and we were, it was, again, great margins, great business and everything, but you are relying on an industry that can go up in like one night.
Mm-hmm.
The what actually happened, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very comfortable business. It wasn't a startup. I realized after shutting it down, it became a lifestyle business. You know, I was making a decent money off of it. You know, it was completely bootstrapped. I was the only founder.
Mm-hmm.
And when COVID hit, you know, it made me realize, you know, like why did I move back to Pakistan? Why did I start this venture? You know, bringing internet to people.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with ezWiFi is, you know, we're able to grow so much quicker, scale so much faster, and provide internet to so many more people. Like it's just insane. The scale of the two businesses are just massively different, and the markets are like completely different as well. And you know, like the revenue models are different. Everything is different.
Mm-hmm.
We still have the same, like almost the same products and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
the real engineering now is not happening on the side of the restaurant, but happening on the back end where how we do all our ad placements.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all that stuff is automated. You know, I'm not sitting there and uploading ads. The
Mm-hmm.
businesses are doing it themselves, and the algorithms are like deciding which ad to show to who, and it's completely targeted and everything. And so the model is gone from like a SaaS. We were a SaaS for restaurants first.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like we're an advertising company. You know, that's kind of what we've become, and our goal is to just connect, you know, millions and millions of people to the internet, to the most important thing there is.
Okay. But interesting thing, right? We are almost, we're actually over time here, but I just have to squeeze in two questions, right? I
Please.
wasn't, like I told you earlier, I might have to finish this off early, but it's actually really interesting right now. Um, you've managed to scale to about 150 locations, right? What about the other end of the bargain, like people who actually want to, or organizations who actually want to place ads through you? How much have you
Yeah.
scaled on that side, and what's the future like on that end?
Yeah. So when it comes to, you know, advertisers, they want two things. Either they
Mm-hmm.
want like massive reach, just
Mm-hmm.
impressions and impressions,
Yeah.
or they want to be extremely targeted in the audience that they're going after. And
Mm-hmm.
we provide them both, right? So we're like in 100 restaurants right now, 150. Usually we get like 250 consumers at one location every day.
Mm-hmm.
So like roughly it comes like 25,000 daily active users,
Mm-hmm.
which is, you know, when it comes to massive reach, that's still not good enough for these advertisers. You know, we can't compete with Facebook ads yet
Mm-hmm.
in terms of reach, but in terms of targeting, we are way much more targeted than even Facebook ads. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Google ads, Facebook ads have a lot of bots, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of leakage. You know, you want to show an ad in Pakistan, it'll be showing in some other part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that, so that's something we is unique to our offering as well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
somebody has to be physically at the location to see an ad. So you can't have bots, you can't have these like leakage as it's called in the industry. You can't have ad leakage.
Yeah.
So in terms of the actual numbers, you know, we've worked with, you know, some big companies, you know, Jazz, L'Oreal, Unilever, a
Mm-hmm.
couple of marketing agencies here in Islamabad as well. And it's the same thing. They're very into the targeted space. They love that. But
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the reach, they do expect a little bit bigger reach. And, you know, when we scale to 1,000 locations, when we scale to, you know, 10,000 locations,
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, we'll be competing with, you know, Facebook ads in terms of reach as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so
Okay.
we are working with a few partners, but
Uh-huh.
they'll come when we hit our numbers.
Okay. Good. Um, Last thing, share through this platform, you're doing some amazing thing, right? It's really cool, actually, right? Never heard of something like this, right? Even outside of Pakistan. Um, what message do you have? Do you need? What do you need for to scale, right? Or what help do you need, right? Secondly, what message do you have for whoever your potential customer might be, right? Either restaurants or advertisers, right? And what message would you have for people playing small parts in their own capacity within the ecosystem?
Well, in terms of, you know, other, you know, people out there, the
Mm-hmm.
restaurants, whatever, if you want to use the service, make an extra buck, you know,
Mm-hmm.
cover your internet costs and just sign up on our website. And if you want to come work with us, you know, let's let's do that. We're hiring aggressively now. So if you think you're a potential fit and you
Mhm.
resonate with the mission and everything, then please come send me your CV. But I think the biggest like message if I would give to anyone is, I've been doing this for a while now.
Mhm.
Like like you said, you had never heard of ezWiFi or like, or me before, but I've been doing this for a while. I've been in the ecosystem. I've been in this startup game for a while now. And now everybody's, like, oh, you made it. You
Mhm.
raised money.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this for a while. So it's not a big deal. But I would say, like, it's good. Like, what I've noticed, like, why Silicon Valley works or, the startup ecosystem in London works is because founders and entrepreneurs who are like running their business, they pay it forward. So if somebody's asking you for help, just help them. You don't have to take money or whatever. Just give them advice, give it free, just pay it forward. People have given me advice, people have helped me
Yeah.
for no cost when I needed it most. So I do the same now.
Mhm.
Uh, just I would say just pay it forward. That's one really important thing.
Mhm.
Like if you want this ecosystem to actually become at the
Yeah.
same level as like Silicon Valley or
Mhm.
something in the UK or Europe, then I
Mhm.
think that's the biggest thing we need to do here in Pakistan.
Mhm. I actually have a message to the person who told you that you've hit the spot when you raised funding, right? In my opinion, I keep advising
Yeah.
people on this that when you are into business, it's just the term startup that is a new thing globally, right? Businesses have started, people have started businesses world over, and they do it day in, day out. Even the ready wala selling chana chaat and all those things, right? That's also a business. He
Yeah.
ventured into something, right?
Yeah.
So
He's an entrepreneur as well.
yeah, raising funds is just a means to an end, right? It's not that shouldn't be the goal, actual goal of the startup. That's kind of like the core thing that most founders actually miss on. वो कहते हैं ना कि ओ फंड रेज कर दिए बस हमारा जो है ना कश्ती पार लग गई जाएगी हमारे हम दरिया क्रॉस कर जाएंगे so
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing. So, Sher, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. You've got a super exciting thing that you're working on. Best of luck with this. When you're in Karachi, once again, you've got a customer sitting over here, right? If you do go into residential. And if there's any support from my side that is needed in my personal capacity, do reach out. You can reach me over LinkedIn. I'll message my cell number as well. You can just pop in a message, right? And we'll see what we can do. Thanks for your time, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was great. It's awesome.
That's great. Chalo,
Perfect.
chalo. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Stay safe. Allah Hafiz.
Bye bye. Love this.
Allah Hafiz.